Okay, so this is the purpose of doing capital budgeting. So by understanding this topic, it will enable you to differentiate between the different techniques that may be used in evaluating the projects. So there are four techniques that you are going to use to evaluate the project. So you will learn it in this topic. uh, you also will be able to to identify and select the project which are viable and prioritize on the criteria for the selection, such as the profitability. So during using the four techniques that you're gonna learn, so you will be able to decide which project is the best project, which project is the most profitable project. Okay, so so these are the topic. So the capital budgeting techniques, these are the techniques that managers will use to to identify which project is the best project. So the first one is NPV, net present value. You can identify how much is the expected profit when you do the net present value. Payback means that uh, the profit, you're gonna identify how long it takes for the investment to get back all the uh, all the initial investment. How much you invest into the project, how long it takes for all the investment to be returned back. Okay, you want to know how long it takes for basically you want to know, managers will be able to identify how long it takes for the investment to break even. Right. Next is profitability index. So the index will tells us whether the investment is profitable or losses. And the last one is the internal rate return. Internal rate return will give you judgment whether the rate return, whether the return that you receive from the investment is appropriate or not appropriate. Okay, so it is IRR. Okay, so analysis of potential additions to the fixed asset, long-term decisions involve large expenditures, very important to firms' futures. All right, so when you identify the project, basically you will be given two types of project. So it's either independent project or it is a mutual exclusive project. All right, so if it is independent project, it means the alternative that you have, all the alternative is not affected to each other. So because it is not dependent to each other. Okay, if you invest in project A, there is no any effect if you also invest in project B, because each of the project, each of the investment is independent, right? Compared to mutual exclusive project, so each of the alternative of the project will affect it to each other. So maybe if you invest in investment A, it is the same thing with investment B. So basically, these two project actually comes from the same project. So you just need to choose the best one. Okay, so it is mutual exclusive. For example, if we say that it is a mutual exclusive project, so you've been given two alternative A and B. So if A and B is mutual exclusive project, it might be both projects comes from the same industry. So when it comes from the same industry, there's no point for you to invest in both. So it's better for you to invest in only one investment. So because you need to choose on the best one, so you have to choose which one is better lah. So it is mutual exclusive project. However, for independent project, for example, you've been given A and B, alternative of A and B. So if A and B is independent, so you can think that A and B comes from different industry. So if you invest in A, you also can invest in B, as long as those projects are profitable. So this affect your decision whether you want to invest in both project or you want to invest in only one project. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is risk premium. You learn this during the risk and return. All right, so this is the first technique, NPV technique. I don't want to continue with this. I just want to continue with example of question. Okay, this is the example of question. I have shared this example to another group. Okay, so you've been given two types of cash flow. Can you see my screen? The Panasonic and LG.
Boleh nampak.
Okay, good. Okay, given to you, the cash inflow of Panasonic is even cash flow because every year it is expected to receive the same amount for the whole 5 years. Okay, during these 5 years, it is expected that Panasonic project will receive 80,000 every year. It's a fixed amount. So when it is a fixed amount, we call it as even cash flow. So the technique, the formula for each of the technique might be different compared to variable cash flow. So if you can see here, LG, the LG project, these are the expected cash. This is the expected cash inflow of LG project. Okay, so let us look how much is the initial outlay. Initial outlay basically it is the modal. Okay, how much is the investment that you are going to invest it for each of the projects. So LG, you need 260,000 to invest in this project. For Panasonic, you need 250,000 to invest in this project. So you've been given the expected cash inflow for both projects. Okay, so let's say that Panasonic and LG is independent to each other. So let us see how you're going to decide whether you need to invest in both project or you need to decide to only invest in one project. So you've been given the cost of capital is 12% and you have to calculate payback period, net present value, profitability index, and IRR. Okay, IRR for LG, we cannot calculate IRR for variable cash inflow because that is a different technique that you are going to use. It's usually we will use calculator, a specific calculator to calculate for uneven cash flow, the IRR for uneven cash flow. But if you we just calculate all this manually, so we just calculate for even cash flow. Okay, so the question asks you to calculate payback period, net present value, profitability index, and IRR for Panasonic. You have to choose whether it is Panasonic or LG. Okay, when you want to do this, you need uh, apa nama tu? You need financial table to calculate. You need financial table to calculate. Sekejap eh. Okay, let us do one by one. Have you take this? Have you snap this picture? Here you snap this picture. Eh?
Dah snap dah. Okay, when you do capital budgeting, there are four techniques that you are going to use. So the first one is payback period. Second is net present value. Third is profitability index. And the fourth one is IRR, internal rate return. Okay, usually you will be given two types of cash flow, so even cash flow and also uneven cash flow. For even cash flow, you can calculate the payback period, and even also you can calculate the payback period. NPV, you can calculate the NPV for both
Profitability also you can calculate for both. Internal rate of return you can calculate for even, but you cannot calculate for uneven, because usually we will use scientific calculator to do the calculation. Okay, because we just calculate it manually, so we cannot calculate. It's not your level. It's not in your syllabus to calculate uneven internal rate of return. What is the purpose of calculate internal rate of return? Because you want to differentiate between the cost of capital given and the rate and the internal rate of return is appropriate or not. So if the internal rate of return is higher than the cost of capital given, so it means it's better for you to reject the project because the given project is not profitable. So this is how you're going to make the decisions lah. Okay, all right. So these are the four techniques. So let us do the first one, payback period. Okay, so how to calculate payback period for Panasonic? So Panasonic is even cash flow. Panasonic is even cash flow. So how to calculate payback period for Panasonic? So it is payback period equal to initial investment divided by cash flow. Okay, so this is for Panasonic. I mean the even cash flow. For LG, so this is uneven cash flow. So how to calculate payback period for uneven cash flow? It is year before full cover plus uncovered cash flow divided by cash flow of the year. So we will go through this later on, but let us focus on payback period of even cash flow for Panasonic. So initial investment for Panasonic is 260,000 divided by cash flow. Every year Panasonic will receive 80,000. So you just divide 80,000. So the answer is 3.25. So 3.25 is in year. So it is expected all this initial investment will be full cover for 3.25 years. So during between during 3.25 years, all the initial investment will be full cover. So basically, how long it takes for Panasonic to break even is 3.25 years. So it takes 3.25 years for the investment to break even. So this is the meaning of it. So how you're going to decide for payback period? So you should decide the shorter time. The shorter the period, the better the investment. Because the shorter the payback period, the faster you're gonna receive your profit. So this is the use of knowing how long it takes for the payback period. Okay. Alright. Boleh? Ini faham eh? This is a revision from, terima kasih eh. This is revision from Principles of Finance. Okay, so let us do LG. Example for LG. So LG is uneven cash flow. Year before full cover, plus uncovered cash flow divided by cash flow of the year. So how you're going to decide which one is year before full cover, which one is uncovered cash flow, and which one is cash flow of the year? So you have to calculate one by one. Okay, so initial investment is 260,000. Okay, at year 1, LG gonna receive 145,000. At year 2, LG gonna receive 142,000. Year 3, LG gonna receive 126,000. So continue lah for every year. So you have to calculate one by one. So year 1, it only able to collect 145,000. So 260 minus 145. So there is another 115,000 which not being covered yet. So 115 minus 142. So if 115 minus 142, there will be negative amount. So no need for you to minus because because this amount is higher than this amount. When this amount is higher than this amount, just stop here. Okay, so now how you're going to decide which one is year before full cover? Year before full cover is this year. So it is 1 plus uncovered cash flow, this one. So this is uncovered cash flow, which is 115,000. So which one is cash flow of the year? It is cash flow at year 2, 142. Now you can straight away calculate it.
1.81.
Yes.
1.81.
You sorry, cuba tulis dekat chat box tu. Boleh tak tulis dekat chat box tu apa yang you cakap tadi?
Saya dah jawab answer dia sama Miss.
Okay. So this is the answer. So the answer is 1.81 years. Okay.
Madam.
Ya, cuba
Madam dengar tak?
Saya dengar tapi saya tak
Dengar tak?
Saya dengar.
Madam, I nak tanya. Kalau kan dapat example lah. Kalau dia boleh tolak banyak years tu macam mana? Dia memang akan kurang daripada years ke? macam 11500 kan. Kalau dia still boleh tolak lagi, so means dia jadi year 2 lah. Kalau boleh lagi, so year 3 lah. Betul tak? Tadi madam cakap tolak sampai dia negatif kan. Kalau dia kurang daripada dia terus stop kan. Betul tak? So kalau continue macam tu,
basically kalau dekat sini lebih daripada sini, you tak payah tolak dah lah. You tinggalkan je macam ni.
okay. Boleh, faham. Thank you madam.
So kalau ni lebih, ni 142 ni lebih daripada sini kan. So you tinggalkan je kat sini. You tak payah nak tolak dah. Kalau ni lagi sikit, contoh kat sini. Contoh kalau cash flow at year 2 is 95,000 for example. So here is 126. So kalau macam ni, this figure is lesser than this figure kan. So you still need to minus. So when you minus this, you will get answer so there is another 20,000 which not been covered yet. So bila you tolak sini, 20,000 is lesser than this figure. This figure is higher than this figure. So just stop here. Okay, then now this become yield before full cover. So it is 2 plus 20,000 divided by 126. So you have to look with this one and this one. This one must be higher. When this higher and this is lower, then just stop minus. Then you just stop doing the deduction. Why you have to do this? Because you want to know how long it takes for this investment to break even. So kalau dia dalam masa, so maksudnya kalau 2 point something, so the investment will break even during the 3rd year, but not at the end of the 3rd year. It will break even in the middle of the 3rd year. So it is 2 point something. So that's why you come up with 2 plus uncovered cash flow divided by cash flow of the year. Boleh?
Boleh.
Madam, so jawapan dia jadi ini just juga ah.
Boleh tak guna chatbot sebab saya tak berapa jelas. Apa dia? You cakap apa? This is just a revision from your principles of finance. I'm sure all of you have thick principles of finance. Siapa yang cakap tadi? Boleh you tulis dekat dalam chat box? Okey, boleh ke? Hello.
Ngatak ke?
Jadi jawapan dia ya, jadi jawapan dia akan dalam years juga, betul? Sebab kita nak tahu how long it takes, so it is duration. So dia dalam years juga. Okay, so let us stop for a while. I will continue
I will continue again after this. Let us stop for a while and continue after this.